My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's Biscuit Week!
Woo! And it's not those kind of American biscuits that you put with gravy and grits and stuff.
No, like it's real ones, like cookies that they would call.
Like things that you dunk in a biscuit.
Things you dunk in a biscuit.
Things like coffee, you'd dunk coffee in a biscuit.
I would dunk coffee in a biscuit, exactly, or tea in a biscuit. I'd dunk them all in a biscuit.
All in a biscuit.
In a biscuit.
Yeah, just dunk your biscuit right in.
See,
Imagine that at Tim Tam Slam with wine.
No, I was thinking a wine and a biscuit. So for Canadian listeners, you may not get this. But, there was the chicken in a biscuit and all those sort of, Dixie drumstick in a biscuit, which there was some great savoury flavour biscuits that we had, cookies that we had down here. Mm-hmm. And
well, they were more like crackers, weren't they?
Crackers, yeah. Yes. Wine in a biscuit.
Wine in a biscuit.
Why did they never do that?
Scotch in a biscuit.
Oh.
I mean, they did Scotch finger biscuits, but that...
There's no Scotch in a Scotch finger biscuit.
Just imagine like an alcoholic just...
Never been more disappointed in his life. What he's done is he's gone out there and he's ground up all those Scotch finger biscuits and like pureed them into a liquid and gone, that's the spirit.
It's a nice...
That's just... It's dry.
It's the night he's come home very disappointed from a Bare Naked Ladies concert.
It's a
oldie but a goodie.
It's a really dry scotch. Like it's a sensationally dry.
Unless you put it on ice.
And again, our poor Canadians are going, what the fuck are these biscuits? Look them up.
They're all good. Iced Vovos.
We mentioned the
iced vulvas.
Yeah, of course you do. We've mentioned the iced Vovo the other day, actually, so that was cool.
But tonight there's chocolate nipples.
Well, there are chocolate nipples. We'll come to the chocolate nipples shortly.
Okay.
So we need to get underway for Biscuit Week. Now, of course, again, for people just tuning in and who don't read the title of the episode, this is, of course, the Great Canadian Bake Off. Great Canadian Bake Off, not baking show. It's fucking Bake Off. Thank you, everybody, for all of your feedback on week one. Week one was wildly successful again, and we just really love the fact that you all listen.
Yes, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Now, this is also, just before we get underway, this is the last of our single episode weeks.
It's like Bake Off Christmas.
It really is.
It's like it's Bake Off Halloween.
It really is. So
like,
we've got
it's Hello Christmas.
Hello Christmas. I thought you were going to say
Hello Christmas.
I thought you were going to say Hello Kitty. It's Baker Hello Christmas.
Yes.
So next week, just for people listening in who will probably, if you're in Canada, you'll see the episode pop up and you go, oh, I need to download that one. The first episode that will pop up next week for everybody will be the Great Australian Bake Off.
Yay!
Followed the next day by the Great Canadian Bake Off. So for those people in Canada who might be really confused, if they download it and go, what the hell are they talking about? That wasn't the episode. The first episode next week will be Great Australian Bake Off, and it will say it in the title.
Yes.
And then the second episode will be Great Canadian Bake Off, and we will be doing 2 of those every damn week, plus possibly a little bit extra. Who knows? Well, I do, but I'm not telling you just yet. Yeah. So let's get into it. So we are in Biscuit Week. We started off with a golfing joke from Carol and Aurora because they're obviously driving around the estate in one of the golf carts.
I was disappointed they didn't come in with sunglasses, a beard, and like our favourite golf cart driving dude.
Our favourite golf cart driver, Sebastian Tellier. As I often say, Sebastian Tellier, Eurovision legend. As I often say, you might be cool, but you're not Sebastian Tellier cool.
Exactly.
Again, another thing. I like to think of this show as the most Google it show on the planet. We're going to bring up a bunch of references. Google it. We don't have time to explain.
No. You either get it or you don't, and then you Google it.
So what I did like was when we cut to the bakers, Liam, who was in the middle of a mantra convincing himself that he could do this again.
Well, he's not used to being confined between 4 walls and a ceiling. He's like, I can't see the horizon from this shed.
Where are the rugged mountain ranges? I can't find them.
He keeps going to pot plants to relieve himself.
When he goes,
and they're like, no, there's toilets. He goes, what the fuck is a toilet?
And then when he goes to the toilets and he goes to wash his hands in the sink, he's expecting wild salmon to leap forth from the bowl.
He's just got the faucet running, and people are like, what are you doing, Liam? He's like, I'm waiting for the trout. I need to make lunch.
They're like, so we've got the trailers are over there, we've got some heaters for you, and he's got, no need, he's making a camping fire. It's great. So yeah, like Liam's, I can do this again. I've done it before. I can do it again. We can't do it again. You can do it again. I can do it again. I love Liam. He's so overboard.
He really is like a woodland fawn that has come to life and to TV, and I'm here for it.
I feel like there were mermaids and woodland characters were kind of a running theme this evening.
It really is the mythical bake-off.
It has become mythical bake-off, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking,
the whimsy is wild.
The whimsy is wild. Jude would appreciate the whimsy.
Oh, we appreciate Jude.
I hope that Jude, and I know Jude, you are listening, and hey Jude, don't make it bad. No, I sorry, I always do that to you. I'm sorry, I always do that to you, Jude. But I know you're listening, Jude. I hope you're appreciating the whimsy in this episode because it was so whimsical. I mean, our first thought was Jude, just Jude.
Jude would love this.
Kyla's dress game, pockets.
Amazing. Like, when I didn't even notice that because I was too.
I noticed the pockets.
Going like, oh my god, there's like a woodland fawn and a mermaid and like a magical jewelry princess. That's Jodie.
I may have been at a formal event last night where a lot of the females who were really clever were just simply there going, my dress looks amazing. And by the way, pockets. And there were groups of them just putting their hands in their pockets to show off they had pockets in their dresses, and others looking on rather enviously at the lack of pockets that they had and the plentiful pockets.
Look, you're talking about pockets, right? And I'm sorry to bring this podcast down, but I do find...
Why are you sorry now to bring this podcast down?
Okay, it's a Kristie moment for cathartic work, all right? So, year 10 formal, that's the equivalent of the proms or whatever you have. I told my mum, who was going to sew my dress, I wanted a long skirt, like a long dress with off the, like, no shoulders and midnight blue because I wanted to look like dark and mysterious. Like, I had this... Because I got blue eyes and pale skin, so I wanted to look like all gothy. And so my mum, being my mum, decided that I needed a long-sleeved dress with a short skirt, because by her, I have good legs. Back then. They're still awesome now.
They're still awesome.
And instead of this beautiful dark midnight blue, I got lilac. So... I had no fucking choice.
So hang on.
My mum.
Long sleeve, short skirt, lilac.
And it had...
Similar.
Yes, and this is the mid-90s where that look, not in whatsoever.
If you were in 1986...
Maybe.
Set. You were set.
Just need a bit more poof in the
Yeah, well, then the only complaint would have been, where is the poof?
Because this is disappointing, right? Because when I was 12 and I won a scholarship, Mum made my dress for that. And that was cool. She let me choose the pattern that I wanted. And it was cool. It was black and purple and it had, like, poofiness to it and, like, skirt over a skirt. It was just great.
Question, was it purple or lilac?
No, it's purple.
Because I was starting to think maybe she just had some leftover, like, lilac.
No, she took me to the fabric shop and she held it up to me. She goes, see, it brings out the colour in your skin.
Hang on. It brings out the colour in your skin.
Yeah, so she'd done... Oh, my God, sorry. I love my mum at the moment. She's not very well. She's
Hey, Alice.
Yeah. Love you dearly, Mum. But, okay, so she did a Pat Woodley course. Now, in Australia, Pat Woodley is like this kind of like socialite, tell you how to fucking live your life and drink your tea and wear your makeup. So Mum did this course, so that's where she's got it from. But my mum also swears blind that Nicole Kidman was in her fucking course, and she showed me the picture, and sure, there's a tall redhead who on the back, you know, because Mum wrote out who was there, it was a Nick. But you zoom in.
It's quite clearly not Nicole Kidman.
Not Nicole Kidman at all. Face shape completely wrong.
And the timing was way wrong.
Now, when I burst my mum's bubble, it was like I just went and defecated on her. Because she's like, oh, you've ruined my story, Kristie. I'm like, it's not a fucking story.
How dare you put facts in a story? That is so unlike you. So let's move on. So
back in the shed.
Meanwhile, back in the pavilion.
Oh, wrong place.
The shed is next week.
Shed next week.
Okay, pavilion this week. Pavilion this week. In the pavilion, we open with cookie and cracker flags.
Yes.
Are you a cookie or a cracker person? I know the answer to this question.
Well, after seeing Colin walk in with these, it was like he was walking into RuPaul's Drag Race. I thought it was Ms. Cracker. That was going to come in. I'm a both person, really. I like my cookies. I like my crackers. What were you going to say? What do you think I am?
See, I think the benefit to a cookie is there's chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
That is your benefit.
Yeah.
I'm a cracker person, 100%.
But crackers, you can put cheese on.
I'm a very white person. I'm a cracker.
Look, why you are. You're the crackeriest.
I'm the crackeriest cracker that's ever cracking. Anyway.
You're not Miss Cracker. You're like fucking Emperor Cracker.
But no, I prefer crackers over cookies. I'm not, ironically enough, for doing a show like Bake Off, not a massive sweets person.
I just have to say, why not have both? Because one you can put cheese on, the other you can put chocolate on, and I think that's honestly interchangeable in this day and age.
You can put cheese on a cookie. I mean, it would be weird, but you can do it.
Physically goat's cheese on like a fig cookie.
There we go. But is a fig cookie a cracker? These are the questions we don't have time to answer for because we still haven't started the challenge. Okay. So let's get underway. Alrighty. So the signature.
Yes.
Thank you for sticking with us, everybody. 36 savoury crackers with a spread of some description.
Excellent.
So now not in Australia.
Sayo and Vegemite.
Yep. Okay. Well. Okay. So Vegemite. Let's.
Sayo and Perkins paste.
Yeah. Okay. We need to bring up a few things here. We do need
Sayo and chutney.
You just say Sayos for everything, aren't you?
Sayo and Philly cheese.
Sayos are literally the most bland biscuit on earth, by the way. They are. That's why there are so many spreads going on top of these things. They are rectangles of no fun.
Soggy Sayo.
Let's not go to a soggy Sayo, shall we? Let's
Google it.
On. Don't. Okay, there are many things we've told you to Google so far tonight. Soggy Sayo, not one of them. Don't do it. Don't.
Particularly at work.
Don't do it. It's not safe for work.
At least put it on an incognito
It's not
tab.
safe for work. As I said last week, it's not safe for anywhere, really. So, but Vegemite, we need to mention this very quickly because I know we're going to get comments about it.
It's delicious.
Right. For those people in Canada, maybe, who don't like it, and if you don't like it, I can think of a former Bake Off contestant who I know for a fact does now love it, maybe because we sent her some.
And I told her how to eat it properly.
Hey Megan, how you going? But don't spread a mountain of it on whatever you're eating.
It's not Nutella.
It's not Nutella, it's made of yeast, okay? Yep. So if you overload
lots of
it...
salt.
Well, this is the problem. Whenever
it's also got vitamin B in it.
We've mentioned this before on the podcast briefly. But
and roses for your cheek.
But whenever they get celebrities overseas to taste it, they give them a spoon and they scoop it in a spoon, take the whole spoon. No, you don't do that. Nobody in their right mind does that.
Hugh Jackman a couple
of years ago went on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and showed him how to do it. He said, you don't coat it. It's a light spread. It's a scrape, not a spread. But the crackers with the spread. Now, what I found interesting was, I think Kylie Cannell's still got a little bit to learn. She wanted their story in a cracker. Now, notice how nobody took up that brief.
It's like, come on, this is a signature, not a fucking novel.
Was she thinking the Christmas crackers? Maybe she wanted them to write a small, not a joke, a little history, and put it in a Christmas cracker.
With a little crown.
She went, I want your story in a cracker.
Toy.
I want your story in a cracker. And Bruno's like, come with me.
Yes.
I'll explain how the show works. Now, I like Natalia a lot more, apart from her obvious James Bond-ness, which I talked about last week. I liked her because, just like the rest of us, she just fucking buys her crackers from the store.
Yeah, she's like, I don't make crackers at home because they're easier to buy.
And that is very true, and that is what...
Very valid.
Pretty much everyone does. Now...
You know, we're going to have our Bake Off friends going, oh my God, Chris and Kristie.
It happens all the time.
You just don't have good crackers from the store. You need to make your own.
Okay,
Robert.
So I was about to say...
Robert will be telling us that.
I was about to name drop
Robert.
Robert.
You, Robert.
We love you, Robert. We're about to name drop you, and I know right now you're listening to this going, squeak! So... Let me just say now, our good friend...
Robert. Is making him squeal a lot?
No, he won't hear the word I'm about to say to him. Oh. So, our good friend Robert Harwood of Great Australian Bake Off fame, friend of the show, he is always the first one we talk about. No, who makes this? Robert is the first one to send me a thing.
Oh,
actually, and show me a batch of something that he's made, which is probably
me last
exactly
night.
it.
Just whipping up some of my own sayos.
It's great. He can whip up whatever he wants. It's just that he can't whip up a bunch of fajitas in time. Anyway, love you, Robert. Okay, moving on. So Jay says he needed to make 36 of them, so 46 to 50 because he wants to make sure he had options. And a good call, by the way.
Yes, very good
As
call.
a few of them found out later on, a good call was to
Well
overdo
done, Jay.
it. Well, they were well done. That's part of the problem. Moving on. So I loved it was Carolyn went over and decided to make small talk. Now, I think they're going to do this every week, and it's going to get annoying really fast. Carolyn went over to Colin and went, so Colin, tell me, do you have a song about crackers? Now, what I loved about this is if you go back and re-watch the footage, Colin goes, sure. And internally he's saying, who the fuck has a song about crackers?
Shirley Temple. Animal crackers in my soup makes me something loop-de-loop. And a gush and a G and I have fun swallowing animals one by one.
The problem is, I don't think Colin could legally use that.
Oh, okay.
I think the rights are owned by someone else.
Is that like
I'm thinking more boy band-esque because remember he's part of Canada's favourite boy band. Polite disagreement. Their single out in September, maybe October, possibly November. They'll work it out amongst themselves. And I'll let you know in a way that'll be polite. So Colin decided that he was making Cinco de Mayo style cookies with ancho. You know who does a nice ancho, by the way?
Who?
Mama Jo.
She does do a nice ancho.
So-
Mama Jo ancho.
Mama Jo ancho.
Google that.
Yeah, definitely
Totally
Google.
safe for work.
Definitely Google Mama Jo's spice mixes as well. They're really awesome. Speaking of those spice mixes, Jasmine then did jerk crackers.
Also another spice by Mama
Exactly.
Jo. Has she infiltrated Bake Off, do you
I
reckon?
wonder if she's just infiltrated Canadian Bake Off. That could be interesting.
She borrowed the Maggie copter somehow.
Smuggled herself in.
Smuggled herself in.
So Jasmine was making Jamaican jerk crackers with mango lime butter. Now this was another great conversation where Carolyn went, so what is mango butter? And Jasmine just looked at her and went, butter and mango?
And
I'm
a bit
like,
of lime, a little bit of chili, a little bit of garlic. Oh, there's no chili.
I'm like, you got that sorted. Like that. What is it? What is mango butter? Just butter and mango, really? But I like the fact as well that Jasmine's like they're Jamaican, and then later on in the challenge, she turns around and everyone and goes, "I'm going to colour them like the Jamaican flag, so they really know they're from Jamaica." I'm like,
Case.
last week we were shaping cookies. We were shaping things like the province.
Yes, a cake into a province.
Cake into a province. This week it's biscuits into a flag. I can't wait for next week. What's it going to be? Bread. Well, it actually is.
Bunt
it's going
into
to be
an atoll.
a bunt into an atoll. That would be good.
Yes.
It's going to be bread sculptures. So it will literally be bread into a monument.
The Leaning Tower of Bagels.
That would be quite good, actually.
I know. Look at me. My brain's coming up with shit.
I want to make the Leaning Tower of
Or,
Bagels now.
because it's bread week, they could actually make the Leaning Tower of Pizza. Just layers and layers and layers of pizza on a lean.
How many pizzas would you need to make?
I'm going to put that to the good listeners out there. How many pizzas?
We want you to send us in some feedback. How many pizzas do you think you would need to make a Leaning Tower?
Not as
pizza?
many if you're making deep dish.
True, but not many people are making. But deep dish is also probably not structurally sound.
Unless you use a deep dish as the foundation and then built on it with smaller pizzas.
That might be cheating, though.
No, it's
should be
pizza.
But it should be the same pattern all the way up.
Why? The Leaning Tower of Pizza isn't. It has a strong
You
foundation.
mean pizza? It is. They're blending
Don't
into
care,
one.
they're just
blending
one.
into one. We'll come back to that next week when it happens. Jody, a couple of people using some interesting ingredients. So Jody was using beetroot powder.
Yeah. Actually said beetroot on it too.
Yes, and then she said beets. You know, we got beets.
Do you reckon it's left over from Rochelle? She's just like
100%. She left it all behind. It was like her lunch.
her lunch.
It was in the fridge.
just a sprinkling of beetroot powder
Her lunch
on
was-
some gold leaf.
That might be one of the more Australian sentences I've ever said. Her lunch is in the fridge. So Just a little Tupperware container there with beetroot written on it.
No, it's like in one of those old Tupperware ones with the top
there's a plunger. Yes, there is definitely a
that
plunger.
drains your beetroot.
Google it.
Google it.
So, what I really did appreciate though was while she brought out beetroot powder, Jay had brought forth juniper berries.
Oh, I loved it. I was waiting for him to just like set up a still in the corner and start making some gin.
I was waiting for a crazy old man to start defending the bush. He's brought forth juniper berries.
Oh God. Okay. Yes.
I've bloody got to eat. Now,
you weren't talking that would be your topic on Mastermind.
I was saying Python would probably be my topic.
They're looking for contestants.
They really are. Let's move on. So,
put
Liam.
forward if you think Chris should go on Mastermind.
Let's not.
I vote yay.
So Liam.
Okay, Liam.
We love Liam. We really do.
Yes.
I do have to raise a moment of concern for poor Liam, however.
Yeah, do you think his band name is oh no, it's Colin.
Yeah.
If Liam was in Colin's band there, do you think his name would be L.I.M.? You know, like William? Like, Will.I.am? Will he just be L.I.M.?
He'd be the featured artist.
Yes.
The featured artist, L.I.M.
Yes.
So
on piano.
Yes, so Liam's favourite vegetable is a parsnip. Just rest on that for a minute.
If you're going to have a favourite vegetable, why not a parsnip?
Because parsnip is almost certainly seen by most people as the poor man's substitute vegetable. When
but
you
parsnip
need, when
chips are delicious.
What is it substituting for?
Potato.
Okay.
Roasted parsnip.
What is it usually substituting for?
Roasted potato.
Yep. Okay, keep going.
Mashed parsnip.
Substituting for?
Mashed potato.
When you don't have potatoes. It's like when you don't have potatoes or you hate the Irish. One or the other, parsnips.
I can't see Liam hating the Irish.
Exactly.
I
so
feel he probably has an uncle that's a leprechaun.
I think so.
In his mythological family.
So
maybe he's just into wild parsnips.
Not only is his favourite vegetable a parsnip, but he decided to make this look like parsnips.
So cute, the little hearts. Oh, the whimsy was real and wonderful.
Parsnip chips with parsnip, parsley, and thyme. It's the poor man's Scarborough fare.
The potato-less man's Scarborough fare.
Are you looking for potatoes there? Parsnips. No, anyway. Natalia.
Rosemary and thyme. Natalia.
So she had beetroot and dill as her flavours.
Nice. Because she was trying to call in flavours of home.
Yes.
Yes. Very Eastern European.
Beetroot.
I love it.
Very beetroot, very dill. And
as we learnt, she's a receptionist.
We did learn she's a receptionist.
But
what we learnt was apparently they only like her for a baking.
It's like, where's the filing that I asked Natalia to do 6 weeks ago? I don't know.
There's a 4-layer sponge in the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool then.
And again, like, this isn't us saying this. The way they sold it to us in the package about, Natalia's wife, where she's a receptionist, and they really appreciate the baking she does. And I'm like, so not the work.
The phone's ringing. Natalia, could you answer that? No. Natalia, it's part of your job I'm going to have to... Look, I'm just whipping up some brownies. Oh, okay then, no worries, I'll
Natalia,
get that.
would you like to... Look, I really need you to show a client through to I'm just a bit busy right now. Cupcakes are happening. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, I'll do it. Look, I'm a partner, I can do that. I could use the exercise.
Yes.
Jodie. So Jodie went with beetroot flower petals with Asiago cheese and cuttlefish.
After she just whipped up some beautiful jewellery the night before.
Yeah, like the night before, she calmly makes a whole necklace beaded. Just because.
Well, it's
because they went. You didn't do all this beading the night before, and she goes, "Of course not. Just the necklace."
Yeah, just the necklace.
And you just saw them go, "What?"
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Like it's part of her culture, but you can just see she's one of those like people who are prolific. Like every moment of the day, she's creating something and adding something to the world, which is just beautiful. Now, while her husband takes down the charger in the ring.
1, 2, kick out.
Could you imagine he would have the most elaborate outfits though? Like imagine like
imagine the beating.
The masks, like
Oh my God. So Andrea.
No,
So we'll talk a bit more at the end about Andrea and our episode 1. Our episode 1 theory that came
on the
to
shelf.
life. That's
Just
on the
pop it
shelf.
on the shelf. On the shelf. Back to our crackers.
Back to her crackers. Her crackers
We're butterflies.
were butterflies.
I loved.
Spotting things she's seen in the wild. Black sesame and thyme.
Not quite parsley and thyme, but
No, and no seafood, no cuttlefish. I expected her to use cuttlefish. We'll come to why in a moment, but it made more sense for her to be the one using cuttlefish. So Jay, we love Jay. So Jay decided he was doing wheat and rye. Now, he said this was a tribute to the time that he and his husband lived in Sweden. We know better.
Yep.
It's a Scandi cracker.
it is obviously a tribute to our favourite...
Randy Scandi.
Sandy. Sandy Toxic. Randy Scandi Sandy.
Randy Scandi Sandy Toxic, yes, of Great British Bake Off fame. Now,
that's great.
I loved when Bruno walked over to Mary Lou's and just goes, "It smells like Newfoundland. It smells like fish."
And there she is. She's got a fish...
Salt
cod, yeah.
From the salt cod pate. Now, Chris is going to spawn some more Australian stuff, so Canadians, just get ready to Google. Now, my question that I'm going to raise here, which Australians will get,
yes,
is why don't the Japanese have a space program? Why aren't there any Japanese astronauts?
Why not?
I'll tell you why you haven't seen one.
Why?
I'll tell you why, because you can't do the Japanese tea ceremony when you're an astronaut. It's those damn fat gloves again. Okay, so that's by an Australian comedy group, Tripod. Look it up. But Chris was doing the Japanese tea ceremony, and all I could think of was Tripod singing about the Japanese tea ceremony and how an astronaut, there's no space program because they couldn't do a tea ceremony in space. He was using Pollock Rowe as well, which sounds a bit like the name of an actor.
And nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Dramatic Series, Pollock Rowe.
Downton Abbey. Pollock Rowe from Downton Abbey. It does actually sound like that, doesn't it?
Pollock Rowe has been a member of the cast of Downton Abbey for the past 16 years.
Nobody has ever seen him. No. He plays the staircase. So, Carolyn has again, we said the other day that the host, with me, Steph. So we said the other day that the hosts have learnt the ability to pick up food. And there was Carolyn sniffing around Jay's bench going, "That one there looks pretty burnt. Is it right to say that one's burnt? Is it right to say that one's not going, that one there's not going on the plate? Just, I'll help you out with this."
Yes, crunch.
Now, unfortunately, while Jay burnt some, Jodie burnt almost all of them.
Poor Jodie. She did the Master Chef trope.
I looked away for a minute and now
disaster.
Exactly. So, judging. Andrea's, they said the shape held well of the biscuit. They said there was a good snap, which was really good. They said the dip worked really well and her flavours were really good.
Well done, Andrea.
Now, Bruno said to Jay...
I'll just say it in her native language. Thank you.
I Continue. Queen of accents, ladies and gentlemen. Queen of accents. Yeah. Jay, now, again, Bruno said to him, when you mix seafood with cheese, I think, why would you do that? And then he went...
Called a fucking mornay.
And then he went, but it works. And I'm like, yeah, have you heard of salmon mornay? It's a thing.
Tuna bake.
Try it sometime.
Tuna casserole.
Lots of examples.
Seafood pizza.
So Natalia,
that tea of pizza.
So Natalia, they said it was a good snap, good flavour. They said it was just an amazing combination overall. Liam, they said it looked like a parsnip, which is handy given that's what he was going for.
I love it, Liam.
I like that it was.
Don't you listen to those parsnip haters in the world?
Kyla picked hers up and she's like, that definitely looks like a parsnip to me. They said it had good flavour. The snap was good and the flavour was there, which was something they said was something that could have gone wrong with parsnip because they said quite often the flavour of parsnip sort of vanishes. And I'm like, well, of course it does. It's parsnip. It's the flavourless potato.
Just leave it alone, Buchanan.
It's the flavourless
Move
potato.
on.
No.
You and your parsnip hating. It's like, God.
What did
Surprised you didn't mix it with matcha. God, that would have sent you off in a tizzy fit. You'd be like marching down the street, ready to protest. Like last week, fuck the environment. You're setting up a new world protest, striking against parsnips.
I'll tell you something. Matcha on a parsnip would at least give it some fucking flavour once in a while. All right. So, Colin. They said there was inconsistent size because they held them up and they go, this one's really good. This one's ultra thin. They did so, as Bruno said when he tasted it, in between the nearly passing out from heat. If you like spicy food, it's really good. But this is way too much.
He did look like he was through about the sixth sauce in the wings challenge.
Yeah, like he is sitting there doing hot ones and he's like talking about his career. And they're like, so then you did this series of the show. And he's like, anyway, whoa, what level is this? Where is it on the Scoville scale? Mary Lou, they said it was inconsistent but good, which sums up, in terms of the flavour, which sums up a lot of her night. Jasmine, they said that the shape was consistent, but unfortunately, when they went for the snap, they got bend. Nothing worse than getting bend when you want snap.
You don't like if you're doing the bend and snap, not a problem.
If you're just going for the snap, then don't bend.
Don't bend.
It's a trick that all dancers learn.
Yeah,
anyway.
Elwood's law.
Jody, so they said look, badly burnt. But they did say that the cheese worked well with the cracker. Chris's had great snap, had good flavour, and they said all of those flavours linked really well.
I was really worried about him. I'm like, is this too much too soon? Is it because he's like, oh, they're competing flavours, just hope they shine through. And well done, Chris.
He did a really good job.
Very proud.
He did a really good job. All right, so the technical. Now, the technical was 1 dozen marshmallow puffs. All right, so...
Or as we like to call them in Australia, chocolate crowns.
Chocolate crowns.
Or as I like to call them, chocolate nipples.
Yep. Kristie does indeed. That's not for the podcast. She does indeed just call them chocolate nipples.
Every time we buy a packet, I just have to hold one up to my boob.
And go, hey, look, it's like a representation.
Look, nipple. Hilarious. Now let's eat.
It thinks it's cleavage. Anyway, Jay then said they look like the poop emoji, which, well, by the time, I'm not going to lie, some of them when they were finished
really
resembled the poop emoji, especially the ones that hadn't set yet.
Yeah. I don't get the poop emoji rage. Like, now I'm talking like I'm a boomer. But just like when you go around, you see like rainbow poop emojis, and then you just see like the LGBTQI like range of flags in poop emojis. I'm like, is that really what you want your representative colours to be on? Like the bi flag on a poop emoji. I mean, as a bi person, I'm just not
open to that.
Not open to that.
Maybe
on the dancing lady.
You're like as a bi person, I'm open to many things, but the poop emoji is not one of them.
One of them.
I have limits.
There's a line.
I have limits.
Is that the difference between a bi person and a pansexual then?
The poop emoji.
The poop emoji. Pansexual's like, I will love everything including a poop emoji. And bi's like, we're not going there.
Look, hard and fast limits, people. Hard and fast. So they talked about the idea of why have you done this? Isn't this really easy? And Kyla, when she was explaining, it was really good because she said it's deceptively simple. There's a lot of different parts of the process. You've got to temper the chocolate. You've got to make the marshmallow. The biscuit has to be the right size. The jam had to be made from scratch. And you had to, she said, I wonder if anyone's going to remember that they actually have to filter that jam.
For a technical, it is actually testing technical skills because every single part of that are basic, I guess, skills you need as a baker. Maybe not so much the marshmallow, but definitely the tempering of the chocolate, definitely the cookie, baking of a cookie, and the making of a jam. To which Colin goes, I've never made a jam.
He did.
And he did. Well done.
So while she was explaining that, however, Bruno just got jack of the explanation and just started eating.
She's like, and blah, blah, blah. It's one of
and
my childhood
he nodded and went, yeah, food.
He's just channeling me. It's like, all right, keep talking about it. I'm going to fucking
So the first one was they did give them the instruction for the biscuit.
Yeah.
Then they got to the next bit, which just said, make jam. Now, Liam had a really Liam way of looking at the world here, where he just said, "It's just boiling, really."
Beautiful, Liam.
And at least Jodie worked out with the, "I think you want to strain it,"
But she didn't.
and then she didn't do it. So I'm trying to work out what happened, because Jodie was the one who said, "I think you probably want to strain this," and then didn't bother to strain it.
Yeah.
Now, we had Natalia trying to work out going, "I think this is the right amount of marshmallow," and just dumping a pile on there. Then we went to what I like to refer to in Bake Off as the Great Chocolate Tempering Challenge.
Ah, yes.
Some people have done it, some people can do it, some people have no ability to do it whatsoever.
Gather round, people. I've got like a sixth sense around tempering chocolate, and I can kind of achieve it without a thing. I'm not saying I'm a fucking expert. I'm not. It's just more that I'm lazy and throw things in a microwave and still manage to make it.
You
really
do
good.
actually. You do a very good job of it.
It's the sheen on it. I don't
Poor
know.
Mary Lou, she couldn't.
Can I boil rice? No. Can I make most foods in the world? No. Can I bake? Fuck no. Can I kind of temper chocolate in a microwave? Sometimes.
We've all got skills.
Yeah.
So poor Mary Lou, she couldn't manage to temper her chocolate properly. There were a couple of them that struggled to temper their chocolate.
Jasmine.
Yeah, there was
I
a
was
few.
worried about Jasmine.
And the problem was, when they didn't temper their chocolate properly, it meant that you didn't get any set. So what you basically had was the equivalent of the poop emoji.
I mean, that said, you would still eat that shit. Like, that would be,
Well,
literally.
After we talked about it being the poop emoji, you would
yeah.
indeed still eat that shit.
A lot of them
So-
did look like little cow pats. Like, just...
Some of them
like
look
a
like slightly larger
mini
cow pats.
just came along and just... Tasty cow
Maybe that
pats.
is what happened. Anyway, so they were trying to work out how to cover them. Now, most people worked out that it's a pour. Mary Lou went to dunk.
Oh, it's not a Leamington Mary Lou.
It had expected results. So
Yeah.
she grabbed it by the biscuit, she dunks the marshmallow
Oh,
in,
that
and
comes the
only
marshmallow.
pulled out the biscuit.
Oh,
Everything else was in there, and it didn't really work.
no.
Now, at this point, we were taken away from the baking briefly to watch Jay nearly die.
Oh, my God. The WH&S practices. Someone should have been onto that safety.
Who put the tray on the ground next to the bench?
Not good.
I mean, if it was Jay, then serves you right. But if
Yeah.
it wasn't Jay, then who did that?
Sabotage.
Sabotage.
In that pavilion.
Horrible. And what we were left with, basically, was a bunch of bakers with very, very wet chocolate nipples.
Yep.
Not
Chris's were good. Chris had hard nipples.
Chris had hard nipples.
A
Okay,
few of them had hard nipples. Most of them were wet chocolatey nipples.
so when I'm talking about the judging here, I want you to put the phrase chocolate nipples in front of everything I say. Chris's were even in size, with a firm set and good flavour. Mary Lou, they were a bit uneven. They were tempered, and they had good flavour. Jodie's had issues with tempering. Good flavour, but were a bit too seedy.
No one likes the seedy nipple.
No one likes a seedy nipple.
No.
Now, poor Colin. Because for Colin's chocolate nipples, the judges said they couldn't pick them up. However, they did say that Colin's flavour was outstanding.
Tasty nipples, Colin.
Jasmine's were not tempered. There was some good flavour, but that they needed some more chocolate because the chocolate was a bit poor.
Just, I know it doesn't quite work for some of them, but it's still hilarious because
Jay's had a good temper and some really good jam. Really good jam.
nipple jam.
Apparently, Natalia's
Yeah,
were generous.
nice and plump and round.
Gets better. They were firm, but not tempered.
Oh,
And there was no straining.
you don't want to strain your nipples.
We are literally 2 years old at the end of this challenge. Andrea's were tempered. However, it was a little bit wet, but the rest was quite good. Unfortunately, Liam ruins the whole joke.
Damn it, Liam.
Because the cookie was poor, the chocolate wasn't tempered, and the taste was good. The poor cookie ruined everything, Liam. Make the
know.
right cookie. Yeah, we had a thing going, Liam. So the judging
See,
was
what they could have said, his were very informal.
they could have. And oddly shaped.
And oddly shaped. And we would have been homonosed.
All we needed was an oddly shaped.
Yep.
All right, so to give you an idea out of the technical judging, Liam was 9th, Jasmine was 8th, Jodie was 7th, Mary Lou was 6th, Colin was 5th, Natalia was 4th, Andrea 3rd, Jay was 2nd, and Chris was 1st. Well, they were even in size, firm, set, good flavour. They had to be.
Best nipples. Okay, put that down for the Virgies.
Best nipples, done.
Best nipples.
So Liam's comment was, I like marshmallow puffs. I like them a lot less now. We like you, Liam, so we're on this. So now the showstopper seems to flow on from the idea of chocolate nipples quite well.
Your fantasy land.
Fantasy out of a biscuit. Now, I've got a little bit of a complaint.
Why? No BDSM?
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
People could have done that. But what I'm thinking
Sexy
about
times. This is my Chris Hemsworth land, where I'm just surrounded by Chris Hemsworths, and there's no clothing.
Some people went with a really cool idea of a fantasy. Others were there were a couple of more mundane.
No, you cannot judge someone's fantasy.
What I mean is the concept of fantasy seemed to be Bruno seemed to be wanting to learn more about them through fantasy, but no, that's history, Bruno, not fantasy.
Because often people's fantasies don't.
The idea should be it's not
up.
practical. So part of the problem could have been what I would have done with this was I would have had a big fuck up in a bake and I would have gone, well, it's a fantasy. It can't be reality. I can't make it. There we go. Concept. Mind blown. Enjoy it.
I mean, this really is a blue sky thinking challenge, just
100%.
Sky's the limit.
Like Jasmine,
There you go.
Jasmine really took it to heart with her Super Jasmine. That's a
I
fantasy.
loved it with a little dog as a sidekick. Good girl.
All right, so you had to make it epic and edible. What I didn't like about this challenge, actually, was I thought that the problem with this challenge was it was vague. Like, the size thing was vague.
Yeah.
They said epic, but what counts as being epic? That was my problem. I didn't hate the challenge. I thought the challenge ended up being quite good, but I just thought they needed a little bit more guidance. Because then at the end, when they're talking about the idea of this one may not be necessarily big enough, or they're talking to them about going, is this really the sort of size we're after?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't really said what size you're after.
Something I found interesting though is that the challenge curriculum, set out layout. A lot of the times when we've seen biscuit challenges for showstoppers and stuff in, say, Great Australian and Great British, people have actually gone on the two-dimensional. So they've just, created something that's pretty epic and pretty spectacular. But everyone here chose to go in the third dimension.
Well, I mean, Australian previously
height.
Australian previously did the jigsaw. They did the tea biscuit jigsaw, which was quite cool.
And then we had the games with the British.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I was quite surprised that maybe there was something that was said that wasn't
put to air.
I
do like the fact that they avoided the stock standard make a gingerbread house because I was terrified it was going to be that.
I mean, I love them in the past, don't get me wrong, but we're living in 2019, people. 2019,
Exactly.
the future.
Liam.
Still no flying cars. But we're going to have heli Uber in Melbourne. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's pretty cool, and I would like to become a helicopter pilot.
We know. It is
See?
your
Fantasies.
fantasy.
My fantasy.
Helicopter pilot. Okay.
Yeah, that would be me.
All right, so Liam. Liam was making a gingerbread.
All personnel.
Why did you become radar?
Because choppers.
Radar wasn't in the helicopter. He was on the ground.
I know, but it's related, okay? I was going to make reference to the guy in Mastermind tonight who actually won his place in the final by getting through on MASH. But I didn't. I just went straight to the radar.
Except just there where you made reference to him. Anyway, Liam made gingerbread and vanilla orange cookies for his gnome home.
Which was so cute.
It was so Liam.
I was expecting Liam to go and live in it. He's like, it's actually a reconstruction of his mythical home in his...
Liam has built this in the wilderness before.
So he's not a fawn. He's a gnome as a human.
100%. So Colin. Now Colin decided to whisk egg
I hope
white.
he's not a red cap gnome. Those things the caps are red because they kill people and it's like the blood.
I have no concept.
Going real mixed.
So Colin was whisking eggs with food colouring, and the reason was he was making the Land of the Mer people. Now in my notes I wrote, wait up. I wrote, just ask Andrea what it's like, because surely she'd understand.
Yes.
And as we find out in a minute, yes, she does. Give it a minute. I'm keeping you on the edge here, because this is great. So Jay's fantasy was quite cool. Jay wants to have a dog sanctuary.
For all the stray dogs in the world.
All the dogs.
That'd be really fucking noisy.
In spiced gingerbread.
Tasty dogs.
Well, I don't know if the dogs would want to eat the spiced gingerbread. I think they might not enjoy that as much.
Might not be good for them.
No.
Might end up with a lot of dead dogs.
Now, Mary Lou...
Very sick ones. Dog vomit for miles.
Mary Lou decided she was going to make a gingerbread ghost ship on Swiss meringue. Now, she said in her own judging that it was a shipwreck. Look, it was very white. It was very ghost, all right. She had that part down.
Look,
I went Ghostbusters. I went when they blow up the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because when it all collapsed towards the end, it just looked like that scene where, like, at the very end, where there's marshmallow falling on everybody.
And you know, when you think about epic ships, Newfoundland, there's really only one epic ship that you can think of.
Where the fuck was the Titanic?
And the wreckage, you know. But I guess that's not her fantasy. Like, her fantasy isn't to be, like, you know, trapped on a
I want to know, but this was
mega ship.
But this is what I mean. It was about fantasy. She was talking about a story in their neighbourhood.
Yeah.
Which wasn't really a fantasy. It was more, there's a ghost ship out there.
Maybe it's because her life is so awesome that she doesn't have any fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, she's living her fantasy.
In Newfoundland.
She has, like, her fantasy football team is actually her real life. Like, you know, she does a draft every year, and it consists of the same people in the same roles, because it is her fantasy.
You know, the moments you dip into sport are the moments I treasure the most on this podcast.
Look, I'm not the one who had my brother last night, like, for your hockey thingy.
I have a fantasy draft in a Yahoo Sports NHL Fantasy League.
Yes.
I may have been at a formal event last night. When the draft was happening, my brother may have taken his role as assistant general manager very seriously. He may have also not logged on in time to do the first pick, so I had to log on and do it from the formal event.
Ooh.
And then he stepped in and did it after that.
Great.
And I then had to fix up some of his picks this morning. Yay. Moving on.
So he's a shit AGM. Are you going to, like, fire him? How about me? I could step in. I'd be awesome.
Moving on. Andrea. So Andrea made a magical...
I'd be really shit.
Was making a magical fairy garden with gingerbread house and orange sugar cookies.
Oh, he's so cute.
They were spectacular. The colours were everything you would expect from Andrea.
Yes, yeah.
And then Natalia decided that... She said, I need to do a fantasy for my husband. And my ears pricked up.
And I'm like, here we go.
I'm looking at the TV going, oh my God, I can't believe we're going to see this on Canadian television. And I was right. I couldn't believe we were going to see this on Canadian television. Galactic Metropolis.
It was fantastic.
It was so cool. The colours were vivid. Jodie wanted to recreate what happens at Stately Beer Manor. Mm-hmm. So she had a dragon hoard.
She did.
There was a dragon hoarding treasure. Now, in this case, of course, butter.
Butter. Yeah.
At Stately Beer Manor, for Great Australian Bake Off's own Maggie Beer,
yep.
we believe that she hoards the butter.
Yep. Butter everywhere.
Butter everywhere. And obviously the
Maggie,
dragon is an homage
butter.
to the wonderful Maggie Beer.
Yes.
Was made out of gingerbread. Or as Jodie said, and they said, what's the dragon called? And she's like, Jodie. It's me before coffee.
But that was so beautiful. Like, the piping, the sugar work. Oh, I loved it.
So let's talk.
I do love Jodie. She's awesome.
Speaking of dragons.
Yes.
Now, Chris's was kept quite generic.
Yes.
But we are both the same level of nerd. So Chris is like, there's a dragon boss fight gingerbread, and they were showing the dragon, and there were
First of all, I'm like, oh, he played it. Oh, it's probably Skyrim. And then we saw.
They showed it, and they're just like, a dragon boss fight. And I'm looking at it, and we both at the same time went, Anixia's lair.
Yeah. Now, they were not happy that the dragon broke. I'm like, that's post-looting, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a roll going on in the raid.
Yeah.
They're rolling for the loot.
Yep. Who's going to get the purple
Anixia
armor?
has been defeated. Mm-hmm. The 40-man raid has succeeded.
Yes.
And somebody is about to get themselves some paladin armor. And you watch it be a gnome rogue who can't use plate. And those items are untradeable.
No.
So, like, what the fuck are you doing? And I had that happen once in a raid, maybe, and they disenchanted the fucker in front of me.
Oh.
Prick. Anyway.
Kill, maim,
moving
destroy.
On. Aurora then tasted part of Chris's. And then, like, she tasted and goes, "Ooh, that's really good." And then looks at Chris and goes, "I hope that wasn't important."
He's like, "No, that was just the whole bit that was going to hold my dragon together." And now
that's the reason why my dragon's going to fall apart, and they're going to tell me my dragon fell apart badly. Now, look on the ground between two biscuit buildings.
Is it a bird?
Is it a slug?
Is it a parked car?
Is it a dropped biscuit? No, it's Super Jasmine.
Oh,
I felt so bad for her.
I was so enthralled with the concept.
But I will admit they got it right in the judging when they said the problem is there's no structural engineering taking place here.
No.
And she just like tried to string line
Yeah.
across biscuit, which was already crumbling. And then like as she's going to hook it, like this line was going to be held by this really thin bit of gingerbread. And I'm like, no, you're going.
See, if she really wanted to be like a TV criminologist, she could have gone, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
So, Jay's structure is there focusing intently, and then it collapsed on him. And what I loved is he didn't blink. It, like the side fell off it, and he just stared at it and went, "Damn it!"
It's now a bush.
Yes, well, that was the thing. He adjusted and he goes, "My tree is a bush."
When your big trunk falls off,
Your
you're
tree's
left
a
with a
bush.
bush.
Chris's dragon was breaking, as we said, but Mary Lou had the bigger problem. It didn't really bake,
Nope.
and it was just flat. Mary Lou, though, I loved her resilience with it. She looked at the mess and goes, "It's like a puzzle now." Who doesn't like a puzzle? I like puzzles. I can do puzzles. And then with that is when she went off and just got all of the fucking things and just started gluing everything white. Now, Jasmine and Andrea were having a few structural issues here. Jasmine's buildings were falling over. Andrea was trying to make sure her buildings stuck together. And then Andrea went over and looked at Collins. And she looked at Collins' mer people. And all she said was, "These are my people."
And I'm like, vindication!
And we're like, oh my God, we got it right.
She is a mermaid.
She's a mermaid confirmed. We
Yes.
called it last week and she confirmed it in week 2.
This is my second big reveal this week, because this week... Okay, so the Masked Singer has started in Australia.
Oh no.
And, like, we're both in kind of post-crap TV that we've been watching withdrawals, and I just watched it, and, like, this singer came on that was dressed as an octopus, and I'm like, it's totally Gretel Colleen, and I tweeted it, so I've got fucking proof. Because I watched a lot of Big Brother Australia, so I know that voice. And lo and behold, Gretel Colleen it was.
Gretel Colleen was the host of Big Brother Australia for you Canadians out there.
Thank you.
They've never heard of Gretel Colleen, much like Lindsay Lohan, who is a judge on the Australian Masked Singer, who's heard of nobody who's being revealed, which is great. They go, "Who are you?" And they pull the mask off, and Lindsay Lohan's like, "Who are you?"
I still don't know you.
This was never going to be a flawed concept at all.
No.
All right, so let's focus back on something far more important.
Yes.
Jodie's piping. Jodie piped individual scales on this dragon. And then hand stretched the sugar work to make the dragon breath. It was something to behold.
She's not, how can I put it, she's not consistent in what she produces, but when she's on, it is fucking phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
So, love it. Love it, Jodie.
So we're about to get to the judging, but before we get to the judging, you know who appreciates good piping?
Who?
The good people at Australian Sugarwork
They
magazine.
sure do.
So if you're looking for some form of quality publication, and it's digital too.
Yeah.
So Canadians, this is for you as well.
Environmentally friendly. Greta
Thunberg.
yes, will be so proud. She'll be like, yep, that's fine.
So
Reduce your carbon footprint.
it's focused on cake decorating and sugar art. It is the
Yes.
Australian Sugarcraft magazine. Full coloured digital, step-by-step tutorials. There's recipes. There's tips. There's ideas. And the subscription is not that expensive.
No, how much is it?
It is $19.90 Australian.
Oh.
That is 2 issues per year.
Yep.
Remember, in Canadian, that's fuck all.
Tell them the price, son.
Tell them the price, son. The price, son.
$19.95.
So, no, not 19.95.
What is it?
It's 19.90.
Oh, God. Even cheaper. For you, 5 cents off. $19.90.
So to give you an idea, at the moment, my Canadian friends, it's $17.82.
Ooh.
So what you need to do is go to facebook.com/Australian Sugarcraft.
Well done.
Thank you very much. So let's get to the judging.
Indeed.
So, Natalia, they said it was impressive. The almond sugar cookies and the gingerbread were wonderful. The bake was perfect.
Yep. And you like Colin's reaction was all of us like, wow.
Yeah, at the end of it, Colin walked over and he goes, wow, oh my God. And he's like staring in wonder.
Okay, I'm going to make another prediction.
Yeah.
We find out that Natalia's husband also likes beets. And then we find out he also likes bears. Because I'm pretty sure...
Galactica?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her husband is Dwight Schrute.
Liam, they said it was the perfect representation of a gnome.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
They said it was fun and the bake was really good. Andrea, they said the details of what Andrea does are great. Mm-hmm. They did say the cookie was underbaked, but they said the flavour was actually really good still.
Yep.
But they just, Kyla was marvelling about just the detail and everything Andrea does. They said that Chris's was ambitious, however, it held back on flavour. They thought that he went too big on the design and too small on the flavour, and he needs to sort of switch that a bit.
Yeah.
Now, the problem was that Super Jasmine had no foundations to support her, but they said it was a good effort. And they
she
said
was like mildly hovering Jasmine.
Yes, and she goes, I was hoping to be higher up in those buildings. I would have gone, bitch, I'm off the ground.
Yeah, she's just done the whole leap and stopped herself from...
She should have had bakers on either side going, now pulling the string.
Yeah.
But they did say that there was good flavour.
Yeah.
Now, Jay, they said it's not the showstopper we envisioned, and Jay went, wasn't the one I envisioned either. And they also said the dough was a bit overworked.
Yeah.
And you can see that when they cut the base, it was a bit spongy. So, Jodie, Kyla loved the scope of the piping and that hand-pulled sugar.
Yeah.
They said the gingerbread was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, a little bit of pink peppercorn in there, I believe.
There was pink peppercorn. Okay, so we're doing our sound test now at the end, which is great. Mary Lou said hers was a shipwreck. They said the cookie was under, but the flavour was actually quite good. And then we got to Collins, where they said there was amazing detail and the bake was absolutely perfect.
No, I do a reference that the mermaid was a little Zoolander, you know.
You did.
Yes.
The colour scheme was perfect.
Yeah, the essence of wetness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the essence of wetness.
I think that was it. I just misquote shit all the time.
That's right. So, Natalia, once again, is Star Baker, which you called.
I did.
You did call that. You said Natalia would be Star Baker.
3 calls this week.
Yep.
I bought a couple of lottery tickets, so we'll see how we go.
Don't want to get one of those right instead,
See if my fantasy can come true and see if it'll be like Kristie's choppers. Just be like Tristie's choppers. I'll work it out.
You got some time. Unfortunately, Mary Lou was going home. And look, she was always going home.
Jasmine didn't do too well, but not as poorly as Mary Lou.
She didn't kill the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No. But, you know, it's okay for Mary Lou because she's returning to her life, which is her fantasy.
Newfoundland.
Exactly. With her beautiful family and her child, like her grandchild.
And to be honest with you, it felt a little bit like Bruno was sad to be losing Newfoundland from the pavilion. He's like, I like the Newfoundland stories. They're great. You know, they've been fun.
You can just imagine Anne-Marie last year was just regaling him with tales.
He's like, we need another Newfie Baker quickly.
Yes.
Get me another one. Get me another one. So that is where we're going to leave off for this week. Thank you very much, everyone who's been listening, who's been messaging, who's been tweeting us.
Awesome.
It's really appreciated. We will see you next week.
Yeah, we will.
For the Great Australian Bake Off. As well as another episode of Bread Week this time of the Great Canadian Bake Off. Until then, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we will catch you all then.
Chocolate nipples.